4 gi Alexander Pope ki The Rap of the Lobe ki ngasina concluding chapter haiba tare natraga concluding lecture do oiratani ko. So akoina BEGC 107 British Poetry and Drama 17th and 18th centuries se akoi matang matang Dryden dagi akoi ju Pope matang matang tanare aduda ngasigi lecture sina akoi gi Alexander Pope na iramba The Rap of the Lobe mock satire to ko adugi last unit udune ko sina ko unit 1 to 3 ko in the ba lugre nasi gizna character analysis amasung style ko and style hai ko ona ko gi Belinda gumba Baron gumba Elestris gumba ko gi major characters in Clarissa gumba mogi quality kari kari cheli ko moise kamaina karam ba angle the study to bi ai kari represent to bi moina ko gi sigi ke no mock epic sida karamba role play to we call have myam to ngasi gi lecture sida ikoina nainaraga ngasi understand to bang ngani ko so today's lecture BEGC 107 British Poetry and Drama 17th and 18th centuries block 4 Alexander Pope The Rap of the Lobe unit 4 character analysis and style aduga aina deliver to buduni ko ngasi gi lecture ja so aims and objectives. This unit gives you an analysis of the different characters who will appear in Canto 3. We Canto 3 is the go. We over Todang logo to Vipa Habatare, we main character. Kara when a selective when a local we do characters in the opinion of the Maduda, Belinda role, Tony Yorani, Clarissa role Yorani, the Baron role. My home to the quite major name or Ariel, we guardians of Yorkani, Adobo opening young Kanda, Sigi character homes in the quite main in the Lodunia, Aduga, Aquina, Karam Karamba characters in no, Kanto 3 Orize, Aduga Muina Karam Karamba role play the week, Muina Mog Epic Sibu Kamina forward Hataraka movement Karikari, PK have a donga lectures the point in So, at the end of your study of this unit, you will be able to evaluate the specific traits of the characters presented in Kanto 3. Kanto 3 the Iriba characters in the specific Masamsagi Habitaranico, Magun Singh. Kari Kari Magun top Kari Magun Jelly, or they Kari qualities when they represent the we have it to Habitarako, Mugi, Belindana, Matamdugi, Nupi Yamagi, Karamba, frivolity, Hydra, Matamdugi, Quigi, Yamna vein or Yamna surface level, the focus of Badugi quality, Karam Cheli, Koli have to Nasigi, lectures in open common doing it. They Baron do not represent the Matamdugi hero, Haida and a more hero character to Karam Permachi and no, Kamina Mazi Kamina Pina. Analyze the VI natural command study to VI habitat Sigi lectures Naduga evaluate the role they play in the story Muna Kari role play to we we plot say command move forward to Bukanda Mamans and Bukanda Kari role play to we call habitat in the Amasung analyze characters while critically examining the poem on our characters in there when critically poem Quina Karigi mo epic orino Mok epic sina akogi epic ki karam karma magun sing moina karem narino karem na bahaiba tare ko mok to bahamina adedi Alexander Pope na magi intellect sin naraga haiba tare ko magi talent sin naraga akoida kari tanging ino akoida kari kangan ningino haiba to mako and appreciate the style in which the poem has been written on a karam karamba style akogi Homer when iramba Virgil when iramba mok heroic epic sing to adubu adugi style do di follow to ko aduga characters sing di Virgil hoy Homer hoy ko moini irame ba mogi heroic characters sing dugi characters sing ba kaitara mi sing di happy taba adugi muhutta yamna mo oina ko mo level da haibata ko mo oina muji karim ka thana mo characters sing ji yamna anemba thak haibata compared to bigi classical characters have a time. Classical characters in the kind of music and Bani and the Tatas in the music minor mentioned the weekly have to see in the introduction. What is character analysis? Character analysis has a career and horoscope. It is the process of evaluating specific traits of characters who figure in the text. In this canto, we have two major characters, Belinda and Baron. On a character analysis, Saragadi, Aquina ꯀꯔꯤ ꯀꯔꯤ ꯇꯣꯞ ꯇꯣꯞꯄ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯇꯥꯔꯦꯅꯦꯀꯣ ꯃꯅꯤꯄꯨꯔꯤꯗ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯒꯅ ꯃꯒꯨꯟ ꯀꯔꯝ ꯀꯔꯝꯕ ꯆꯦꯜꯂꯤ ꯀꯦꯔꯦꯛꯇꯔꯁꯤꯡꯁꯤꯗ ꯑꯗꯨꯒ ꯃꯣꯏꯁꯦ ꯀꯔꯝꯕ ꯃꯈꯜꯒꯤ ꯀꯦꯔꯦꯛꯇꯔꯅꯣ ꯑꯐꯕ꯭ꯔꯥ ꯐꯠꯇꯕ꯭ꯔꯥ ꯍꯥꯏ ꯀ꯭ꯂꯥꯁꯂ ꯂꯣ ꯀ꯭ꯂꯥꯁꯂ ꯅꯠꯇ꯭ꯔꯥ ꯑꯗꯩꯗꯤ ꯄꯣꯖꯤꯇꯤቭ ꯅꯦꯒꯦꯇꯤቭ ꯑꯗꯨꯒꯨꯝꯕ ꯃꯌꯥꯝꯗ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯀꯦꯔꯦꯛꯇꯔꯁꯦ ꯃꯨꯟꯅ ꯄꯥꯔꯒ ꯃꯨꯟꯅ ꯁ꯭ꯇꯗꯤ ꯇꯧꯔꯒ ꯏꯚꯥꯂꯨꯑꯦꯠ ꯇꯧꯔꯒ ꯀꯣ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯗꯤꯁꯤꯖꯟ ꯑꯃ ꯂꯧꯕꯁꯦ ꯃꯗꯨꯗꯣ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯀꯦꯔꯦꯛꯇꯔ ꯑꯦꯅꯥꯂꯥꯏꯁꯤꯁ ꯍꯥꯏꯅ ꯂꯧꯒꯅꯤꯕꯀꯣ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯗꯤ ꯃꯣꯏꯁꯦ ꯃꯦꯟ ꯀꯦꯔꯦꯛꯇꯔꯔꯥ ꯃꯥꯏꯅꯔ ꯀꯦꯔꯦꯛꯇꯔꯔꯥ ꯀꯣ ꯋꯥꯔꯤꯁꯤꯗ ꯃꯣꯏꯅ ꯀꯔꯝꯕ ꯔꯣꯜ ꯂꯧꯔꯤꯅꯣ ꯋꯥꯔꯤꯁꯤꯗ ꯃꯣꯏꯁꯤ ꯌꯥꯎꯔꯝꯗ꯭ꯔꯒꯗꯤ ꯋꯥꯔꯤꯁꯦ ꯀꯗꯣꯝ ꯁꯥꯏꯗ ꯆꯠꯂꯝꯒꯅꯤ ꯈꯣꯠꯂꯝꯒꯅꯤ ꯑꯗꯨ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯐꯦꯛꯇꯔꯁ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯌꯥꯝꯈ꯭ꯔꯦꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯏꯚꯥꯂꯨꯑꯦꯠ ꯇꯧꯕ ꯁ꯭ꯄꯦꯁꯤꯐꯤꯛ ꯇ꯭ꯔꯦꯠꯁ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯒꯗꯤ ꯀꯦꯔꯦꯛꯇꯔꯁ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯅꯤ ꯑꯣꯔ ꯃꯒꯨꯟ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯅꯤꯅ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯤꯁꯤꯀꯣ ꯀꯦꯔꯦꯛꯇꯔ ꯃꯇꯥꯡ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯕꯅꯤꯅꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯀꯦꯔꯦꯛꯇꯔꯁꯤꯡꯒꯤ ꯃꯒꯨꯟꯁꯤꯡꯗꯣ ꯌꯦꯡꯉꯒ ꯑꯗꯨꯒ ꯃꯣꯏꯅ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯋꯥꯔꯤꯗꯨꯗ ꯅꯠꯇ꯭ꯔꯒ ꯁꯩꯔꯦꯡꯁꯤꯗ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯒꯦꯅꯦꯀꯣ ꯃꯁꯤꯗ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯒꯅꯀꯣ ꯁꯩꯔꯦꯡꯁꯤꯗ ꯌꯥꯎꯔꯤꯕ ꯀꯦꯔꯦꯛꯇꯔꯁꯤꯡꯁꯦ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯑꯦꯅꯥꯂꯥꯏꯁ ꯇꯧꯔꯒ ꯁ꯭ꯇꯗꯤ ꯇꯧꯕꯗꯨꯕꯨ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯀꯦꯔꯦꯛꯇꯔ ꯑꯦꯅꯥꯂꯥꯏꯁꯤꯁ ꯀꯧꯋꯦꯕꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯅꯤꯗ ꯏꯟ ꯗꯤꯁ ꯀꯥꯟꯇꯣ we have two major characters Belinda and Baron ꯑꯗꯨꯅ Belinda ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯤꯕ ꯅꯨꯄꯤꯁꯤꯒ Baron ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯤꯕ ꯅꯨꯄꯥꯁꯤꯒ ꯑꯅꯤꯁꯤꯅ ꯃꯦꯟ ꯀꯦꯔꯦꯛꯇꯔꯅꯤꯀꯣ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯀꯥꯟꯇꯣ ꯅꯝꯕꯔ 3ꯁꯤꯗ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯇꯥꯔꯦ ꯑꯗꯨꯗ Belindaꯒꯤ ꯁꯝꯕꯨꯟ ꯑꯃ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯒꯦꯅꯦꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯗꯣ Baronꯅ ꯄꯥꯃꯟꯕꯗꯒꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯇꯥꯔꯦ ꯀꯥꯇꯤꯅ ꯇꯧꯔꯒ ꯀꯛꯈꯤꯕꯗꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯕꯨ ꯔꯦꯞ ꯍꯥꯏꯅ ꯔꯦꯞ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯁꯤ ꯍꯧꯖꯤꯛ ꯃꯇꯝꯗꯕꯨꯗꯤ ꯀꯣꯅꯣꯇꯦꯁꯟꯁꯤ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯅꯦꯒꯦꯇꯤቭ ꯑꯣꯏꯕ ꯑꯃꯗꯤ ꯂꯩꯔꯦ ꯕꯠ ꯃꯇꯝꯗꯨꯗꯗꯤ ꯏꯟ ꯗꯤꯁ ꯏꯟꯁꯇꯦꯟꯁ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯇꯥꯔꯦꯅꯦꯀꯣ ꯔꯦꯞ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯗꯣ ꯐꯤꯖꯤꯀꯦꯜ ꯑꯦꯁꯣꯜꯇꯤ ꯅꯠꯇꯦꯀꯣ ꯖꯁ ꯃꯁꯝ ꯀꯛꯄꯗꯨꯅꯤꯀꯣ ꯃꯥꯅ ꯁꯤꯗ ꯑꯂꯦꯛꯖꯦꯟꯗꯔ ꯄꯣꯞꯅ ꯃꯥꯒꯤ ꯁꯩꯔꯦꯡꯁꯤꯗ ꯗ ꯔꯦꯞ ꯑꯣꯐ ꯗ ꯂꯣꯛ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯤꯁꯦꯀꯣ Baron X and Belinda response ꯑꯗꯨꯅ Baronꯗꯨꯅ ꯑꯦꯛꯁꯟꯗꯣ ꯂꯧꯕꯅꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯗꯤ ꯀꯔꯤ ꯑꯦꯛꯁꯟꯅꯣ ꯁꯝꯗꯣ ꯀꯥꯇꯤꯗꯨꯅ ꯀꯛꯄꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯒ Belindaꯅ ꯔꯦꯁꯄꯣꯟ ꯇꯧꯔꯛꯄꯅꯤ ꯀꯃꯥꯏꯅ ꯔꯦꯁꯄꯣꯟ ꯇꯧꯏ ꯃꯥꯅ ꯀꯞꯇꯅ ꯂꯥꯎꯗꯅ ꯈꯣꯡꯗꯅ ꯅꯠꯇ꯭ꯔꯥ ꯑꯗꯨꯒ ꯃꯣꯛ ꯋꯥꯔ ꯑꯃ ꯀꯣ ꯂꯥꯟ ꯑꯃ ꯍꯧꯗꯣꯛꯄꯒꯤ ꯇꯥꯏꯞꯇꯀꯣ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯅꯨꯄꯥꯒ ꯅꯨꯄꯤꯒꯒꯤ ꯃꯔꯛꯇꯒ ꯂꯥꯟ ꯍꯧꯗꯣꯛꯄꯒꯤ ꯃꯑꯣꯡꯗ Belindaꯅꯒ ꯂꯤꯗꯔꯒ ꯑꯣꯏꯔꯒꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨ ꯃꯌꯥꯝꯗꯣ ꯃꯊꯪ ꯃꯊꯪ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯗꯤꯁꯀꯁ ꯇꯧꯔꯛꯀꯅꯤꯀꯣ ꯃꯗꯨꯅꯤꯗ In particular, a negative action elicits a countermeasure that can be equally harsh or just the contrary, positive. On a negative action, ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯃꯁꯤꯒꯤ ꯁꯩꯔꯦꯡꯁꯤꯗ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯒꯅ negative actionꯗꯨ ꯀꯔꯤꯅꯣ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯒꯗꯤ ꯃꯁꯝꯗꯨ ꯀꯛꯎꯕꯗꯣ ꯑꯣꯏꯕ ꯇꯥꯔꯦꯀꯣ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯗꯤ ꯇꯨꯃꯤꯟꯅ ꯃꯨꯟꯕ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯇꯥꯔꯦꯅꯦ ꯃꯨꯟꯕ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯋꯥꯍꯩꯗꯨꯁꯨ ꯁꯤꯖꯤꯟꯅꯕ ꯌꯥꯔꯦꯀꯣ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯁꯝꯗꯨ ꯅꯝꯐꯨꯗ ꯀꯛꯄ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯒꯦꯅꯦꯀꯣ ꯃꯨꯟꯕ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯣꯏꯒꯦ ꯑꯗꯨꯒ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯀꯔꯤ ꯑꯗꯨꯒꯤ ꯑꯦꯛꯁꯟ ꯇꯧꯔꯨꯕꯗꯒꯤ ꯀꯔꯤ ꯑꯦꯛꯁꯟꯅ ꯔꯦꯁꯄꯣꯟꯁ ꯂꯥꯛꯏ ꯈꯣꯠꯂꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯗꯨꯅꯦꯕ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯅꯩꯅꯒꯗꯧꯔꯤꯁꯦꯀꯣ Pope presents Baron's action as not as negative. And the Pope nadi negative oina utte action je ko. Just that Baron duna Belinda gi masamdo aduki mati khoidajaba haiba tare Baron jina Belinda jibu aduki mati pamjaba nuksijaba haiba tare ko nusimanbadagi haiba to adugi wahaida adugi justification gi mongda Pope na pi ko saying jida ko na Baronꯗꯨꯅ Belinda ꯅꯨꯡꯁꯤꯃꯟꯕꯗꯒꯤ ꯃꯥꯅ ꯈꯥꯡ ꯂꯥꯛꯄ ꯉꯝꯗꯕꯀꯣ ꯃꯥꯅ ꯇꯧꯅꯤ ꯇꯧꯔꯣꯏ ꯈꯪꯗꯕ ꯍꯥꯏꯇꯥꯔꯦꯅꯦ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯃꯅꯤꯄꯨꯔꯗ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯒꯅꯀꯣ ꯃꯥꯅ ꯇꯧꯅꯤ ꯇꯧꯔꯣꯏ ꯈꯪꯗꯕꯗꯨꯗ ꯃꯥꯅ ꯃꯁꯝꯗꯣ ꯀꯧꯕꯅꯦꯕ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯃꯁꯤꯒꯤ ꯑꯦꯛꯁꯟ ꯗ ꯔꯦꯞ ꯑꯣꯐ ꯗ ꯂꯣꯛ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯤꯕ ꯑꯦꯛꯁꯟꯁꯦꯀꯣ ꯁꯩꯔꯦꯡꯗꯨꯒꯤ ꯇꯥꯏꯇꯜꯗꯨ ꯅꯠꯇꯕꯤꯗꯀꯣ ꯑꯦꯛꯁꯟꯁꯦ ꯄꯣꯞꯅ ꯀꯝꯄ꯭ꯂꯤꯠꯂꯤ ꯅꯦꯒꯦꯇꯤቭꯅꯦꯅꯗꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯗꯦꯕꯀꯣ ꯃꯥꯅ ꯑꯦꯀꯣꯔꯗꯤꯡꯂꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯗꯤ ꯃꯥꯅ ꯖꯁꯇꯤꯐꯥꯏ ꯇꯧꯅꯕ ꯍꯣꯠꯅꯩꯕꯀꯣ ꯀꯝꯄ꯭ꯂꯤꯠꯂꯤ ꯅꯦꯒꯦꯇꯤቭ ꯑꯣꯏꯕ ꯑꯦꯛꯁꯟꯃꯛꯇꯤ ꯅꯠꯇꯦꯅ ꯍꯥꯏꯅ ꯍꯣꯠꯅꯩꯕ Belinda's mixed response of awe and anger, along with inner satisfaction of being appreciated for her beauty, reveals her character. Oh, Belinda na mapan thongdadi mai masam kakhiba kanda mana hekta shawduna mana kaptana khotana tawbase. Mapan thongdadi ko ma pi ga tadana khotana kap tawdo. Adudi mayamna mangondagi expect tawba action do maduma uttaba yadagi utpanina lawwe ko. Haibadi mana kaptragadi maje ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯀꯩ ꯍꯥꯏꯇꯥꯔꯦ ꯂꯦꯝꯖꯗꯕ ꯅꯨꯄꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯇꯥꯔꯦꯅꯦꯀꯣ ꯃꯗꯨꯒꯤꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨ ꯅꯠꯇ꯭ꯔꯦ ꯅꯠꯇ꯭ꯔꯥ ꯃꯥꯁꯦ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯋꯤꯂꯤ ꯅꯤꯂꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯇꯥꯔꯦꯀꯣ ꯃꯉꯣꯟꯗ ꯃꯥꯒꯤ ꯁꯪ ꯀꯛꯈꯤꯕꯗ ꯈꯣꯠꯈꯤꯕꯗ ꯃꯥꯅꯒ ꯔꯦꯁꯄꯣꯟꯁꯁꯦ ꯈꯔ ꯑꯦꯛꯁꯇ꯭ꯔꯤꯝ ꯑꯣꯏꯕ ꯔꯦꯁꯄꯣꯟꯁ ꯑꯃ ꯎꯠꯇ꯭ꯔꯒꯗꯤ ꯃꯥꯁꯦ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯂꯦꯝꯗꯕ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯀꯜꯆꯔഡ് ꯑꯣꯏꯗꯕ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯇꯥꯔꯦꯀꯣ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯑꯞꯕ꯭ꯔꯤꯡꯒꯤꯡꯗ ꯈꯔ ꯁꯣꯏꯕ ꯈꯣꯠꯄ ꯅꯨꯄꯤꯒꯤ ꯇꯥꯏꯞꯇꯅꯦ ꯀꯥꯏꯅꯒ ꯃꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯈꯟꯈ꯭ꯔꯅꯤꯅ ꯈꯟꯕꯒꯤ ꯃꯥꯅ ꯀꯞꯄꯅꯦꯕ ꯑꯁꯦꯡꯕꯗꯗꯤ ꯃꯅꯨꯡꯗꯗꯤ ꯑꯣ ꯕꯦꯔꯟꯒꯨꯝꯕ ꯑꯃꯅ ꯑꯩꯕꯨ ꯄꯥꯝꯖꯕꯗꯒꯤ ꯑꯩꯕꯨ ꯈꯣꯏꯗꯥꯖꯕꯗꯒꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯇꯥꯔꯦꯅꯦꯀꯣ ꯑꯩꯒꯤ ꯁꯝꯁꯦ ꯀꯛꯈꯤꯕꯅꯦꯅ ꯃꯥ ꯑꯁꯦꯡꯕ ꯃꯄꯨꯡꯗꯗꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯇꯥꯔꯦꯅꯦꯀꯣ ꯖꯁ ꯏꯟꯁꯥꯏꯗ ꯍꯔ ꯁꯤ ꯐꯤꯜꯁ ꯍꯦꯄꯤ ꯃꯥ ꯍꯔꯥꯎꯕ ꯐꯥꯎꯋꯦ ꯃꯥ ꯁꯦꯇꯤꯁꯐꯦꯛꯁꯟ ꯐꯥꯎꯋꯦꯕꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯕꯨ ꯃꯌꯥꯝ ꯃꯥꯡꯗ ꯃꯥꯅ ꯁꯦꯇꯤꯁꯐꯦꯛꯁꯟꯗꯣ ꯎꯠꯊꯣꯛꯄꯗꯤ ꯌꯥꯗꯦꯗꯅ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯗꯤ ꯃꯥꯅ ꯁꯦꯇꯤꯁꯐꯦꯛꯁꯟꯗꯣ ꯎꯠꯂꯨꯔꯒꯗꯤ ꯑꯣ ꯃꯁꯤꯒꯤ ꯕꯦꯂꯤꯟꯗꯥ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯅꯨꯄꯤꯁꯤꯗꯤ ꯁꯨꯃꯥꯏꯅ ꯃꯦꯜꯒꯤ ꯀꯩ ꯍꯥꯏꯇꯥꯔꯦ ꯃꯦꯜꯁꯤꯡꯒꯤ ꯅꯠꯇ꯭ꯔꯒ ꯃꯦꯟꯒꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯇꯥꯔꯦꯅꯦꯀꯣ ꯑꯦꯇꯦꯟꯁꯟ ꯌꯥꯝ ꯄꯥꯝꯕ ꯅꯨꯄꯤꯅꯤ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯂꯦꯝꯖꯗꯕ ꯅꯨꯄꯤꯅꯤ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯀꯜꯆꯔ ꯑꯣꯏꯗꯕ ꯅꯨꯄꯤꯅꯤ ꯀꯥꯏꯅꯒ ꯃꯥꯁꯦ ꯖꯁ ꯇꯧꯕꯤꯗꯣꯏꯅꯦꯕ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯑꯗꯨꯃꯥꯏꯅ ꯖꯁ ꯇꯧꯈꯤꯕ ꯇꯥꯔꯦꯅ ꯃꯥꯅ ꯑꯗꯨ ꯈꯪꯕꯅꯤꯅ ꯑꯣ ꯑꯩ ꯑꯗꯨꯝ ꯀꯞꯁꯤꯟꯅꯕ ꯇꯥꯔꯦ ꯀꯣ ꯍꯥꯏꯗꯤ ꯄꯤꯒ ꯆꯦꯟꯊꯗꯅ ꯅꯠꯇ꯭ꯔꯥ ꯑꯗꯨꯗꯤ ꯂꯥꯎ ꯈꯣꯡ ꯇꯧꯗꯅ ꯇꯧꯗꯕ ꯌꯥꯗ꯭ꯔꯦꯅ ꯈꯜꯂꯦꯕ ꯑꯗꯨꯕꯨ ꯑꯁꯦꯡꯕꯗꯗꯤ ꯃꯥꯅ ꯕꯦꯔꯟꯅ ꯃꯉꯣꯟꯗ ꯎꯠꯂꯤꯕ ꯑꯦꯇꯦꯟꯁꯟ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯇꯥꯔꯦ ꯕꯦꯔꯟꯅ ꯇꯧꯔꯛꯄ ꯑꯦꯛꯁꯟꯗꯨ ꯃꯥ ꯍꯔꯥꯎꯕꯗꯤ ꯐꯥꯎꯋꯦꯕ ꯕꯤꯀꯣꯖ ꯁꯤ ꯅꯣꯁ ꯀꯣ ꯃꯗꯨꯒꯤ ꯑꯦꯛꯁꯟꯗꯨꯅ ꯀꯔꯤ ꯄ꯭ꯔꯨꯐ ꯇꯧꯏ ꯗꯦꯠ ꯗ ꯕꯦꯔꯟ wanted her haiba tare ko maje pami parent ma u pami ko le se parent gi action khale aduna masina kuida po na iramba kanda ko kari nari no natraga kari bu mo tori no haiba kanda matam dugi pop wi matam gi the age of pop haiba tare ko wi 18th century gi matam gi nupi singi ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯂꯦꯝꯕꯗꯤ ꯁꯥꯕ ꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯕꯨ ꯃꯣꯏꯅ ꯇꯧꯊꯣꯔꯛꯄ ꯃꯣꯏꯅ ꯉꯥꯡꯊꯣꯔꯛꯄ ꯃꯣꯏꯅ ꯁꯦꯠꯇꯣꯔꯛꯄꯗꯗꯤ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯍꯥꯏ ꯀ꯭ꯂꯥꯁ ꯁꯥꯔꯒ ꯃꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯐꯣꯀꯁꯁꯦ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯏꯝꯄꯣꯔꯇꯦꯟ ꯑꯣꯏꯕ ꯐꯤꯜꯗꯁꯇ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯏꯝꯄꯣꯔꯇꯦꯟ ꯑꯣꯏꯕ ꯑꯦꯔꯤꯌꯥꯗ ꯖꯒꯥꯗ ꯅꯠꯇꯕꯤꯗꯀꯣ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯁꯨꯄꯔꯐꯤஷꯤꯌꯦꯜ ꯑꯣꯏꯕ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯁꯔꯐꯦꯁ ꯂꯦꯚꯦꯜꯗ ꯑꯣꯏꯕ ꯍꯥꯏꯇꯥꯔꯦꯀꯣ ꯀꯦꯔꯒ ꯃꯧꯔꯒ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯇꯥꯔꯦꯀꯣ ꯂꯩꯕꯒꯤ ꯆꯠꯅꯕꯤꯁꯦ ꯄꯣꯞꯅ ꯀꯩꯅꯣ ꯇꯧꯕꯅꯦꯕ ꯀꯩ ꯍꯥꯏꯇꯥꯔꯦ ꯗꯤꯀ꯭ꯔꯥꯏ ꯇꯧꯕꯅꯦ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯇꯥꯔꯦ ꯀꯣ ꯑꯣꯔ ꯄꯣꯞꯇꯨꯅ ꯃꯥꯅ ꯖꯠꯁ ꯇꯧꯕꯅꯦꯅ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯁꯨ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯒꯦꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯁꯣ ꯕꯦꯂꯤꯟꯗꯥꯁꯤꯅ ꯃꯇꯝꯗꯨꯒꯤ ꯍꯥꯏ ꯀ꯭ꯂꯥꯁ ꯋꯨꯃꯦꯟ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯇꯥꯔꯦꯀꯣ ꯑꯃꯒꯤ ꯑꯦꯛꯖꯥꯝꯄꯜ ꯑꯃꯅꯤ ꯄ꯭ꯔꯥꯏꯝ ꯑꯦꯛꯖꯥꯝꯄꯜꯕꯨ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯌꯥꯏ ꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯒ ꯕꯦꯔꯟ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯤꯕ ꯅꯨꯄꯥꯁꯤꯅ ꯃꯇꯝꯗꯨꯒꯤ ꯅꯨꯄꯥꯁꯤꯡꯗꯣ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯇꯥꯔꯦꯀꯣ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯂꯣꯔꯗ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯇꯥꯔꯦ ꯂꯣꯔꯗ ꯍꯥꯏꯒꯦꯔꯥ ꯃꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯇꯥꯏꯇꯜꯗ ꯐꯪꯕ ꯅꯨꯄꯥꯁꯤꯡꯗꯣꯀꯣ ꯃꯣꯏꯁꯨ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯑꯐꯕ ꯀ꯭ꯋꯥꯂꯤꯇꯤꯁꯀꯨꯝꯕ ꯀꯩꯒꯨꯝꯕ ꯍꯦꯛꯇ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯃꯇꯝ ꯑꯃꯒꯤ ꯊꯥꯏꯅ ꯃꯃꯥꯡꯒꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯇꯥꯔꯦꯅꯦꯀꯣ ꯅꯥꯏꯠꯁꯀꯨꯝꯕꯅꯒ ꯆꯦꯟꯕ ꯀ꯭ꯋꯥꯂꯤꯇꯤꯒꯗꯣ ꯆꯦꯟꯕꯗꯤ ꯃꯥꯜꯂꯒ ꯔꯤꯌꯦꯂꯤꯇꯤꯗꯗꯤ ꯃꯣꯏꯁꯦ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯀꯥꯟꯅꯗꯕ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯇ꯭ꯔꯤꯚꯤꯌꯦꯜ ꯃꯦꯇꯔꯁ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯇꯥꯔꯦꯅꯦꯀꯣ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯂꯨꯝꯗꯕ ꯃꯦꯇꯔꯁꯤꯡꯗ ꯐꯣꯀꯁ ꯇꯧꯕ ꯑꯗꯨꯗ ꯑꯣꯟꯁꯤꯜꯂꯒ ꯀꯩ ꯍꯥꯏꯇꯥꯔꯦ ꯋꯥꯔꯤꯒ ꯁꯥꯟꯅꯕ ꯒꯣꯁꯤꯞꯀ ꯇꯧꯕ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯇꯥꯔꯦꯅꯦꯀꯣ ꯃꯗꯨꯗꯣ ꯄꯣꯞꯅ ꯖꯠꯁ ꯇꯧꯕꯅꯦꯕꯀꯣ ꯁꯣ ꯄꯣꯞꯅ ꯖꯠꯁ ꯇꯧꯔꯤꯁꯦ ꯍꯣꯏ ꯈꯔꯅ ꯀ꯭ꯔꯤꯇꯤꯛ ꯈꯔꯅꯗꯤ ꯍꯥꯏ ꯄꯣꯞꯅ ꯅꯨꯄꯤꯁꯤꯡꯁꯦ ꯍꯨꯜꯂꯒ ꯉꯥꯡꯉꯤꯀꯣ ꯅꯨꯄꯤꯁꯤꯡꯁꯦ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯅꯦꯒꯦꯇꯤቭ ꯂꯥꯏꯠꯇ ꯄꯣꯔꯇ꯭ꯔꯦ ꯇꯧꯏ ꯍꯥꯏ ꯑꯗꯣ ꯄꯣꯞꯅ ꯇꯧꯔꯝꯃꯤꯁꯤꯗꯤ ꯅꯨꯄꯤꯗꯪ ꯅꯠꯇꯦ ꯀꯣ ꯍꯥꯏꯗꯤ ꯅꯨꯄꯥꯁꯨ ꯅꯨꯄꯤꯁꯨꯅꯤ ꯃꯥꯅ ꯃꯇꯝꯗꯨꯒꯤ ꯁꯣꯁꯥꯏꯇꯤꯗꯨꯅꯦꯕ ꯃꯥꯅ ꯍꯨꯜꯂꯒ ꯉꯥꯡꯉꯝꯃꯤꯁꯦ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯃꯥꯒꯤ ꯁ꯭ꯀꯤꯜꯁꯤꯅ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯗ ꯀꯔꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯇꯥꯔꯦ ꯃꯇꯝꯗꯨꯒꯤ ꯅꯨꯄꯥꯒ ꯅꯨꯄꯤꯒꯒꯤ ꯄ꯭ꯔꯥꯏꯌꯣꯔꯤꯇꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯇꯥꯔꯦꯀꯣ ꯃꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯃꯅꯤꯄꯨꯔꯤꯗ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯒꯅ ꯃꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯐꯣꯀꯁ ꯀꯩ ꯍꯥꯏꯇꯥꯔꯦ ꯃꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯀꯔꯝꯕ ꯑꯦꯔꯤꯌꯥꯗꯀꯣ ꯃꯣꯏꯅ ꯀꯣꯛꯁꯦ ꯊꯥꯗꯒꯦ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯁꯦ ꯄꯣꯞꯅ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯄꯥꯝꯗꯕ ꯄꯣꯞꯅ ꯁꯞꯄꯣꯔꯠ ꯇꯧꯗꯕ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯀꯨꯆꯨ ꯀꯩ ꯍꯥꯏꯇꯥꯔꯦ ꯁꯛ ꯆꯨ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯇꯥꯔꯦꯅꯦꯀꯣ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯀꯦꯕ ꯉꯧꯕꯗ ꯀꯣ ꯐꯣꯀꯁ ꯇꯧꯕ ꯏꯝꯄꯣꯔꯇꯦꯟ ꯑꯣꯏꯕ ꯅꯣꯕꯜ ꯑꯣꯏꯕ ꯄꯔꯁꯨꯠꯀꯨꯝꯕ ꯑꯗꯨꯒꯨꯝꯕꯗ ꯅꯠꯇꯕꯤꯗꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯗ ꯐꯣꯀꯁ ꯇꯧ ꯂꯩꯕꯁꯦ ꯄꯣꯞꯅ ꯌꯥꯅꯤꯡꯗꯕꯒꯤ ꯃꯥꯅ ꯃꯁꯤꯒꯤ ꯁꯩꯔꯦꯡꯁꯤꯗ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯄꯥꯕ ꯀꯥꯟꯗ ꯃꯁꯤꯒꯤ ꯃꯣꯛ ꯑꯦꯄꯤꯛꯁꯤꯗ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯎꯕ ꯐꯪꯉꯦꯕꯀꯣ ꯄꯣꯞꯅ ꯃꯇꯝꯗꯨꯒꯤ ꯁꯣꯁꯥꯏꯇꯤꯁꯤꯕꯨ ꯀꯃꯥꯏꯅ ꯖꯠꯁ ꯇꯧꯒꯦ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯁꯦ ꯃꯗꯨꯗ She inwardly enjoys attention, though for sake of society, she has to shout, scream, and show a sense of outrage. ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯃꯅꯨꯡꯗꯗꯤ ꯃꯥꯁꯦ ꯍꯦꯄꯤꯅꯦꯁ ꯐꯥꯎꯋꯦ ꯃꯁꯤꯁꯦ ꯃꯥꯒꯤ ꯒꯥꯔꯗꯤꯌꯟꯁꯤꯡꯅꯁꯨ ꯑꯦꯔꯤꯌꯜ ꯍꯣꯏꯅꯁꯨ ꯑꯟꯗꯔꯁꯇꯦꯟ ꯇꯧꯔꯛꯇꯣꯏꯅꯤꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯃꯄꯥꯟ ꯊꯣꯡꯗꯗꯤ ꯃꯥꯅ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯊꯃꯣꯏꯒ ꯀꯥꯏꯔꯕ ꯀꯣ ꯃꯥꯏ ꯃꯁꯤꯡꯗꯣ ꯀꯛꯈꯤꯕ ꯀꯥꯟꯗ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯏꯟꯁꯜꯇꯦꯠ ꯑꯣꯏꯕ ꯀꯣ ꯍꯥꯏꯗꯤ ꯃꯗꯨꯒꯤ ꯅꯨꯄꯥꯗꯨꯅ ꯑꯩꯒꯤ ꯁꯝꯕꯨꯟꯗꯣ ꯀꯛꯈ꯭ꯔꯦ ꯈꯣꯠꯈ꯭ꯔꯦꯒ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯒ ꯑꯣꯛ ꯈꯣꯡꯗꯅ ꯀꯞꯇꯅ ꯈꯣꯠꯇꯅꯒꯗꯤ ꯇꯧꯕ ꯃꯄꯥꯟ ꯊꯣꯡꯗꯗꯤꯀꯣ ꯕꯤꯀꯣꯁ ꯁꯣꯁꯥꯏꯇꯤꯅ ꯃꯗꯨꯗꯣ ꯃꯉꯣꯟꯗꯒꯤ ꯑꯦꯛꯁꯄꯦꯛ ꯇꯧꯕꯅꯤꯅ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯇꯥꯔꯦꯀꯣ ꯕꯠ ꯃꯅꯨꯡꯗꯗꯤ ꯃꯥꯁꯦ ꯍꯔꯥꯎꯗꯅꯀꯣ ꯑꯣ ꯅꯨꯄꯥ ꯑꯃꯅ ꯑꯩꯉꯣꯟꯗ ꯁꯤꯒꯨꯝꯕ ꯑꯦꯇꯦꯟꯁꯟ ꯄꯤꯕꯤꯔꯛꯑꯦ ꯅꯨꯄꯥ ꯑꯃꯅ ꯑꯩꯉꯣꯟꯗ ꯄꯣꯖꯤꯇꯤꯚ ꯑꯦꯇꯦꯟꯁꯟ ꯄꯤꯔꯛꯑꯦ ꯅꯨꯄꯥꯁꯤꯅ ꯑꯩꯉꯣꯟꯗ ꯏꯟꯇꯔꯦꯁ ꯂꯩꯔꯦ ꯈꯣꯠꯂꯦꯅ ꯃꯥꯅ ꯍꯔꯥꯎꯕꯗꯤ ꯐꯥꯎꯋꯦꯕꯀꯣ ꯃꯗꯨꯗꯨꯕꯨ ꯑꯃꯨꯛ ꯄꯣꯞꯅ ꯀ꯭ꯔꯤꯇꯤꯁꯥꯏꯁ ꯇꯧꯋꯦꯕꯀꯣ ꯃꯁꯤꯒꯤ ꯁꯩꯔꯦꯡꯁꯤꯗ ꯃꯈꯥ ꯇꯥꯁꯤꯀꯣ ꯕꯦꯂꯤꯟꯗꯥ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯀꯦꯔꯦꯛꯇꯔꯁꯤꯗꯒꯤ ꯍꯧꯔꯁꯤ ꯀꯣ ꯃꯥꯅ ꯈ꯭ꯋꯥꯏꯗꯒꯤ ꯃꯦꯖꯔ ꯑꯣꯏꯕ ꯀꯦꯔꯦꯛꯇꯔꯅꯦꯕꯨ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯤꯌꯦꯀꯣ Belinda was Arabella Fermor, ꯑꯁꯦꯡꯕ ꯅꯨꯄꯤꯅꯤꯀꯣ ꯃꯥꯁꯦ, who hailed from a Catholic family known to Pope and John Carroll. John Carroll ꯍꯥꯏꯁꯤꯅ ꯀꯅꯥꯅꯣ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯀꯥꯟꯗ ꯄꯣꯞꯀꯤ ꯃꯃꯥꯟꯅꯕꯅꯤ as well as Belinda ꯍꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯑꯃꯁꯨꯡ Baron ꯍꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯐꯦꯃꯤꯂꯤꯒꯤ ꯃ꯭ꯌꯨꯆꯨꯑꯜ ꯐ꯭ꯔꯦꯟꯅꯤꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯑꯁꯦꯡꯕ ꯏꯟꯁꯤꯗꯦꯟ ꯑꯃ ꯊꯣꯛꯈꯤ ꯀꯣ ꯑꯦꯔꯥꯕꯦꯂꯥ ꯐꯔꯃꯣꯔ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯤꯁꯤꯒ ꯔꯣꯕꯔꯠ ꯂꯣꯠ ꯄꯤꯇꯔ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯤꯁꯤꯀꯣ ꯃꯕꯥꯅꯤꯒꯤ ꯃꯔꯛꯇ ꯑꯆꯧꯕ ꯊꯧꯗꯣꯛ ꯑꯃ ꯊꯣꯛꯈꯤꯕ ꯃꯁꯤꯒꯤ ꯁꯝ ꯀꯛꯄꯒꯤ ꯊꯧꯗꯣꯛꯁꯤꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯃꯥꯅ ꯁꯝꯗꯣ ꯁꯝꯕꯨꯟ ꯑꯃ ꯀꯛꯎꯕꯗꯒꯤ ꯏꯃꯨꯡ ꯑꯅꯤꯁꯤꯒꯤ ꯃꯔꯛꯇ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯁꯥꯎꯅꯕ ꯑꯃ ꯊꯣꯛꯈꯤꯕꯗꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯒ ꯏꯃꯨꯡ ꯑꯅꯤꯗꯨ ꯌꯥꯅꯈꯤꯗꯕꯗꯣ ꯖꯣꯟ ꯀꯦꯔꯣꯜ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯤꯕ ꯅꯨꯄꯥꯁꯤꯅ ꯄꯣꯞꯀꯤ ꯃꯇꯦꯡ ꯂꯧꯔꯒ ꯃꯕꯥꯅꯤ ꯃꯣꯏ ꯏꯃꯨꯡ ꯑꯅꯤꯁꯤꯅ ꯈꯟꯅꯔꯤꯕꯒꯤ ꯃꯔꯝꯁꯦ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯁꯤꯂꯤ ꯑꯣꯏꯕ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯄꯪꯕ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯂꯨꯝꯗꯕ ꯃꯔꯝ ꯑꯃꯅ ꯈꯟꯅꯕꯅꯤ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯄꯣꯞ ꯅꯪꯅ ꯁꯩꯔꯦꯡ ꯑꯃ ꯏꯔꯛꯑꯒ ꯏꯃꯨꯡ ꯑꯅꯤꯁꯤꯕꯨ ꯔꯤꯀꯟꯁꯥꯏꯜ ꯇꯧꯅꯕ ꯔꯤꯀꯟꯁꯥꯏꯜ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯒꯗꯤ ꯍꯥꯟꯅ ꯌꯥꯅꯔꯝꯕ ꯃꯑꯣꯡꯗꯨꯗ ꯍꯟꯖꯤꯜꯂꯛꯅꯕ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯇꯥꯔꯦꯀꯣ ꯑꯝꯇꯪ ꯏꯔꯨꯅ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯗꯒꯤ ꯄꯣꯞꯅꯁꯨ ꯏꯈꯤꯕꯅꯦꯕꯀꯣ ꯁꯣ Belinda was Arabella Fermor ꯍꯥꯏꯗꯤ ꯁꯤ ꯅꯨꯄꯤ ꯑꯁꯦꯡꯕ ꯅꯨꯄꯤꯁꯤꯅꯤꯀꯣ who hailed from a Catholic family known to Pope and John Carroll. Ona Pope na zum sa khangba amasung John Carroll na zum sa khangba nupi amani aduga nupi du imung du khangi pa. Robert Lord Peter caused quarrel by snipping a lock of her hair. Ana sige Robert Lord Peter haijina kanano Baron duni pa. Baron hariba character akoigi the Rev of the Lock yoriba Baron hariba character se Robert Lord Peter sin ko mana kari ko tholi haba kanda irang ma habi tare no ko songna ba habi tare ya ta ba caused quarrel by snipping a lock of her hair. My sambun nama ko mana kaptalu dagi imung ani ji marta khanaba chong thokhi ko no yana da bahai tare ko. Carol requested Pope to write humorous poem to laugh families out of their anger. Ana imung ani ji songna rabani na Carol jina Pope ta sereng ami ro iro taw ko nangi sereng na moina paraga moina tawri se yamna silly oiba maram da khanabani ko khanabagi maram chade khanabai muhutta hana lerami ba relationship to them halakna ko anizibu imung anizibu inspire tawna ba to imung anizibu realize tawna ba iro habadagi poem ihibne. The first two cantos were written in 1712, that is a year after incident. Khanabagi incident to adugi chahi amai matunda 1712 ta canto ani habitare ko canto mangan sabni sering se ko na canto ani to pope na ihiba. Pope turned real misfortune of Arabella into a hero comical poem. Ana aseng by incident to mana comic hero amagi habitare or hero comic or mo hero harake ko mo hero poem am to thokne. Fearing that poem might hurt Arabella by adding insult to injury, Pope wrote dedicatory letter to Arabella, prefacing 1714 edition. Now, Pope na jo dum ko. Aina masigi mo epic si iuraga amuk hanadagi khar sauraga leiba imung ko as well as Arabella je amukena sawi gadra amukena thamoi sokhi gadra ko amuken ikai gi gadra kainaga mana khangjabuni ko Pope sigan ta min ko mana dedicatory letter ama hapchale ko Arabella the address to letter ko mana 1714 edition dugi mamang taban apia adu di man to bise mungoni du gyan ta hanam ni ko haibadi usitabagi ullaga ngange khotke man iruna te ha to gyan ta na bai. Pope claimed that his poem was intended only to divert a few young ladies who have good sense and good humor enough to laugh not only at their sex little unguarded follies but at their own. On a Pope na explain to ko mana masigi sereng je irize mi bu karem ka thain na ba mi bu laga ngang na ba ko mi bu sitana ba domain ibnate nupi masa khara da ko moi ji gyan ta ba nupi masa khara da moi ki kahta little unguarded follies moi mistakes sai ba ta na ko adu ju moi na kahta ra masana masaje self realization la na ba ina man ibne inde ko haibadi moina saying ji par kan da nupi masa sing jin akoina khanari be maram je yamna silly oida ko akoina khanari be maram je yamna justified oida akoina tormi je yam pangam mi ko akoina tormi je yamna soirami ko kaina ga mo matom de realization ama lagna ba to adugi da mak ne ba Pope na saying ji is mana Pope na claim to have ta ko na mana Arabella Fermor haibadi Belinda the base Belinda is based on a character or real life person. Arabella Fermor to book Karim Nanaba, Arabella Fermor to gi, Tawai White of Don Kenan, I had never even in the table. Just that Mogi, the piece in Gimarata, a Subakara, Habitat, Popna, recognized Bunamba, Bunamba, Subakara Zemana, Putuaga Habitat Society, the Populaka, or Moses minus the Soy cost, the improved of vehicle, she's a more mistake, who have to come by enough Popna, Egypt, she saying. Next slide, class. The Baron. Shizu major character Maniko. This is a pseudonym for Robert Lord Peter. Baron's action not condemned by Pope, but uses it to expose inane and juvenile actions of lords and vanity and hypocrisy of ladies of the 18th century. Oh na, Pope na masih saying jeko. The Rev of the Lock iba kanda mana Baron dugi action je criticize to de, condemn to de habitare ko. Adugi mohta mana matam dugi lord singi habitare na. Haibadi nobility ko nupasingi moigi inane and juvenile haibadi angang masa taba haidatra yamna immature oiba ꯌꯥꯝꯅ annoying ꯑꯣꯏꯕ actions ꯃꯌꯥꯝꯁꯨ ꯀꯣ ꯁꯤꯒꯨꯝꯕ action ꯀꯣ ꯃꯤꯒꯤ ꯃꯁꯝꯒ ꯀꯛꯄ ꯈꯣꯠꯄ ꯁꯤꯗꯪ ꯅꯠꯇꯦꯀꯣ just that this is one example ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯇꯥꯔꯦ ꯁꯤꯒꯨꯝꯕ action ꯁꯤꯡꯁꯦ ꯇꯧꯔꯛꯄꯗꯣ ꯕꯦꯔꯟꯗꯨꯅ ꯁꯥꯎꯕ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯇꯥꯔꯦ ꯕꯦꯔꯟ ꯍꯥꯏꯗꯣꯏꯔꯦ ꯁꯣꯔꯤ ꯄꯣꯞꯇꯨꯅ ꯁꯥꯎꯕ ꯑꯃꯁꯨꯡ ꯄꯣꯞꯇꯨꯅ ꯔꯤꯌꯦꯂꯥꯏꯖꯦꯁꯟꯗꯣ ꯂꯥꯛꯅꯕ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯇꯥꯔꯦꯀꯣ ꯍꯣꯏ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯇꯧꯔꯝꯃꯤꯕ ꯊꯕꯛꯁꯦ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯂꯦꯝꯖꯗꯕ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯇꯧꯔꯝꯃꯤꯕ ꯊꯕꯛꯁꯦ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯒ꯭ꯌꯥꯟ ꯇꯥꯗꯕ ꯊꯕꯛꯅꯤꯀꯣ ꯀꯥꯏꯅꯒ ꯃꯁꯥꯅ ꯒ꯭ꯌꯥꯟ ꯇꯥꯔꯛꯅꯕ ꯍꯥꯏꯅ ꯄꯣꯞꯇꯨꯅ ꯕꯦꯔꯟꯗꯨꯕꯨ ꯗꯥꯏꯔꯦꯛ ꯕꯦꯔꯟꯗ ꯆꯩꯕꯗꯤ ꯅꯠꯇꯦ ꯕꯠ ꯕꯦꯔꯟ ꯍꯣꯏꯒꯨꯝꯕ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯇꯥꯔꯦꯅꯦꯀꯣ ꯃꯇꯝꯗꯨꯒꯤ ꯂꯣꯔꯗꯁꯤꯡꯗꯨꯕꯨ ꯃꯥꯅ ꯆꯩꯕꯅꯦꯅ ꯂꯧꯕ ꯌꯥꯏꯕꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨ ꯋꯥꯅꯤ ꯑꯃꯁꯨꯡ and vanity and hypocrisy of ladies of the 18th century and the 18th century ꯒꯤ ꯅꯨꯄꯤꯁꯤꯡꯅ ꯃꯣꯏꯒꯤ vanity ꯗ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯐꯣꯀꯁ ꯇꯧꯕ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯗꯤ ꯃꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯃꯁꯛ ꯀꯣ ꯐꯖꯩ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯛꯅꯕ ꯀꯦꯕ ꯃꯧꯕ ꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯗꯩꯗꯤ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯄꯥꯔꯇꯤꯒ ꯇꯧꯗꯅ ꯈꯣꯠꯇꯅ ꯀꯣ ꯍꯥꯏꯗꯤ ꯑꯦꯟꯖꯣꯏꯃꯦꯟꯇ ꯑꯌꯥꯝꯕ ꯐꯣꯀꯁ ꯇꯧꯕ in the pursuit of learningꯒꯨꯝꯕ ꯅꯠꯇꯕꯀꯣ just ꯃꯣꯏꯒꯤ superficial ꯑꯃꯁꯨꯡ surface level ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯇꯥꯔꯦ ꯃꯗꯨꯗ ꯐꯣꯀꯁ ꯇꯧꯕꯒꯤ ꯍꯦꯕꯤꯠ ꯃꯗꯨꯗ ꯐꯣꯀꯁ ꯇꯧꯕꯒꯤ ꯀꯜꯆꯔꯗꯨꯕꯨ ꯄꯣꯞꯅ ꯀꯔꯦꯝꯅꯕꯅꯦꯕ ꯑꯣꯔ ꯑꯦꯛꯁꯄꯣꯖ ꯇꯧꯅꯕ ꯍꯣꯠꯅꯕꯅꯦꯕꯀꯣ ꯃꯇꯝꯗꯨꯗ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯗꯤ ꯂꯣꯔꯗ ꯑꯦꯟड ꯂꯦꯗꯤ ꯑꯣꯏꯔꯒꯗꯤ certain expectations ꯈꯔ ꯂꯩꯗꯅ ꯅꯠꯇ꯭ꯔꯥ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯗꯤ ꯃꯣꯏꯁꯦ ꯇꯥꯏꯇꯜ ꯐꯪꯉꯕꯅꯤ ꯀꯣ ꯃꯣꯏꯁꯦ ꯅꯣꯕꯦꯜ ꯐꯦꯃꯤꯂꯤꯗ ꯕꯤꯂꯣꯡ ꯇꯧꯕꯅꯤ ꯈꯣꯠꯄꯅꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯒꯗꯤ ꯄꯣꯞꯅ ꯑꯦꯛꯁꯄꯦꯛ ꯇꯧꯔꯤꯁꯦ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯂꯦꯝꯕ ꯀꯣ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯀ꯭ꯋꯥꯂꯤꯐꯥꯏഡ് ꯑꯣꯏꯕ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯍꯥꯏ ꯀ꯭ꯂꯥꯁ ꯑꯣꯏꯕ ꯉꯥꯡꯊꯣꯔꯛꯄ ꯁꯛꯇꯣꯔꯛꯄ ꯀꯣ ꯃꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯀ꯭ꯋꯥꯂꯤꯇꯤꯁ ꯃꯌꯥꯝꯗ ꯑꯗꯨꯒꯨꯝꯕ ꯆꯦꯟꯒꯗ꯭ꯔꯥ ꯍꯥꯏꯅ ꯄꯣꯞꯅ ꯈꯟꯖꯕ ꯑꯗꯨꯕꯨ ꯃꯇꯝꯗꯨꯒꯤ 18th ꯁꯦꯟꯆꯨꯔꯤꯒꯤ ꯂꯣꯔꯗꯁ ꯑꯃꯁꯨꯡ ꯂꯦꯗꯤꯁꯁꯤꯡꯁꯤꯗꯤ ꯀꯥꯟꯅꯗꯕꯗ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯇꯥꯔꯦꯀꯣ ꯀꯥꯟꯅꯗꯕꯗ ꯌꯥꯝ ꯏꯝꯄꯣꯔꯇꯦꯟ ꯑꯣꯏꯗꯕ ꯑꯦꯔꯤꯌꯥ ꯖꯒꯥ ꯀꯣ ꯐꯣꯀꯁꯁꯤꯡꯁꯦ ꯑꯗꯨꯗ ꯄꯤ ꯂꯩꯕꯅꯤꯅ ꯃꯗꯨꯗꯨꯕꯨ ꯑꯦꯛꯁꯄꯣꯖ ꯇꯧꯔꯒ ꯃꯇꯝꯗꯨꯒꯤ ꯄꯣꯞ ꯍꯣꯏ ꯃꯇꯝꯒꯤꯀꯣ ꯂꯣꯔꯗꯁ ꯑꯃꯁꯨꯡ ꯂꯦꯗꯤꯁꯁꯤꯡꯁꯨ ꯒ꯭ꯌꯥꯟ ꯇꯥꯍꯟꯅꯕ ꯍꯣꯠꯅꯕꯗꯨꯅꯦꯕꯀꯣ ꯔꯦꯞ ꯑꯣꯐ ꯗ ꯂꯣꯗ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯄꯣꯞꯅ ꯄꯥꯝꯃꯤꯁꯦ The hypocrisy seen in Belinda's feigned anger, as though her chastity had been violated, even as she inwardly experiences her sense of happiness over attention she receives from Baron. On a pop na kari uli. Belinda na mapan thongdudi ko. May masamdu kakre haibagi hekta ꯈꯥꯝꯕꯒ ꯉꯝꯗꯕꯤꯗꯀꯣ ꯃꯥꯅ ꯀꯞꯇꯅ ꯈꯣꯠꯇꯅ ꯇꯧꯔꯤꯕ ꯑꯗꯨꯒ ꯃꯥꯅ ꯁꯥꯎꯖꯟꯅꯔꯤꯕꯀꯣ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯗꯤ ꯃꯥꯒꯤ ꯃꯁꯝ ꯀꯛꯈ꯭ꯔꯦ ꯃꯥꯒꯤ ꯑꯣꯅꯔꯗꯣ ꯆꯦꯂꯦꯟꯖ ꯇꯧꯔꯛꯑꯦ ꯃꯥꯒꯤ ꯑꯣꯅꯔ ꯃꯠꯄꯤꯈ꯭ꯔꯦꯀꯣ ꯃꯥꯒꯤ ꯆꯦꯁꯇꯤꯇꯤ ꯊꯨꯒꯥꯏꯕꯤꯈ꯭ꯔꯦ ꯈꯣꯠꯄꯤꯈ꯭ꯔꯦ ꯀꯥꯏꯅꯒ ꯃꯥꯅ ꯀꯝꯄ꯭ꯂꯦꯟ ꯇꯧꯔꯒ ꯈꯣꯠꯂꯒ ꯀꯞꯇꯅ ꯈꯣꯠꯇꯅ ꯇꯧꯔꯤꯗꯣ ꯃꯅꯨꯡꯗꯗꯤꯀꯣ ꯃꯥꯁꯦ ꯍꯦꯄꯤꯅꯦꯁ ꯑꯃꯗꯤ ꯐꯥꯎꯋꯦꯕꯀꯣ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯗꯤ ꯕꯦꯔꯟꯒꯨꯝꯕ ꯅꯨꯄꯥ ꯑꯃꯅ ꯑꯩꯉꯣꯟꯗ ꯑꯦꯇꯦꯟꯁꯟ ꯄꯤꯕꯤꯔꯛꯑꯦ ꯈꯣꯠꯂꯦ ꯀꯥꯏꯅꯒ ꯐꯥꯎꯕꯗꯣ ꯃꯗꯨꯗ ꯍꯤꯄꯣꯀ꯭ꯔꯤꯁꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯇꯥꯔꯦ ꯍꯤꯄꯣꯀ꯭ꯔꯤꯁꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯒꯗꯤ ꯉꯥꯡꯕꯗ ꯑꯃ ꯇꯧꯕꯗ ꯑꯃ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯇꯥꯔꯦꯀꯣ ꯆꯤꯟꯒ ꯈꯨꯠꯀ ꯆꯥꯟꯅꯗꯕ ꯀꯥꯏ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯗꯣ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯗ ꯑꯦꯛꯁꯄꯣꯖ ꯇꯧꯅꯕ ꯍꯣꯠꯅꯩꯕꯀꯣ ꯃꯁꯤꯒꯤ ꯁꯩꯔꯦꯡꯁꯤꯗ Baron has no worthy quality to have a worthy stature as an antagonist, though he is met antagonist. Oh, now, ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ classical epicꯇꯗꯤ antagonist ꯑꯃ ꯑꯣꯏꯕ ꯀꯥꯟꯗ or protagonist as well as antagonist ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯒꯦꯅꯀꯣ ꯀꯔꯤꯒꯨꯝꯕ ꯃꯒꯨꯟ ꯈꯔ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯀ꯭ꯋꯥꯂꯤꯇꯤ ꯂꯩꯕ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯇꯥꯔꯦ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯁ꯭ꯇꯦꯟꯗꯔꯠ ꯂꯩꯕ ꯃꯒꯨꯟ ꯈꯔ ꯆꯦꯟꯒꯗꯕꯅꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯒꯤ ꯀꯜꯆꯔ ꯑꯃ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯇꯥꯔꯦꯀꯣ ꯃꯗꯨꯒꯤ ꯁꯤꯁꯇꯦꯝ ꯑꯃ ꯂꯩꯔꯝꯃꯦꯕꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯕꯨ ꯕꯦꯔꯟꯗꯗꯤ ꯃꯗꯨꯒꯤ ꯀ꯭ꯋꯥꯂꯤꯇꯤꯁꯤꯡꯗꯣ ꯆꯦꯟꯗꯦ ꯑꯗꯣ ꯆꯦꯟꯗ꯭ꯔꯒꯁꯨ ꯃꯥꯅ ꯑꯦꯟꯇꯦꯒꯣꯅꯤꯁꯇꯣ ꯑꯣꯏꯍꯜꯂꯦꯕ ꯃꯁꯤꯒꯤ ꯁꯩꯔꯦꯡꯁꯦ ꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯃꯉꯣꯟꯗ ꯋꯥꯔꯗꯤ ꯀ꯭ꯋꯥꯂꯤꯇꯤꯁ ꯆꯦꯟꯗꯦ ꯀꯣ ꯑꯦꯟꯇꯦꯒꯣꯅꯤꯁ ꯑꯃ ꯑꯣꯏꯒꯦ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯒꯗꯤ ꯃꯥꯒꯤ ꯀ꯭ꯋꯥꯂꯤꯇꯤ ꯌꯥꯝ ꯆꯦꯟꯒꯗꯧꯕ ꯀ꯭ꯂꯥꯁꯤꯀꯦꯜ ꯑꯦꯄꯤꯛꯁꯤꯡꯗꯒ ꯌꯥꯎꯕ ꯑꯦꯟꯇꯦꯒꯣꯅꯤꯁꯁꯤꯡꯗꯒ ꯆꯦꯜꯂꯤꯕ ꯃꯒꯨꯟꯗꯣ ꯃꯉꯣꯟꯗ ꯑꯃꯐꯥꯎ ꯌꯥꯎꯗꯦ ꯑꯗꯨꯕꯨ ꯃꯥꯁꯦ ꯑꯗꯨꯝ ꯑꯦꯟꯇꯦꯒꯣꯅꯤꯁꯇꯣ ꯑꯣꯏꯍꯜꯂꯦ ꯃꯁꯤꯒꯤ ꯁꯩꯔꯦꯡꯁꯤꯒꯤ ꯑꯣꯏꯅ His stealthy action is far removed from act of heroism and manly courage. ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯃꯥꯒꯤ stealthy ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯒꯗꯤ ꯂꯣꯠꯄ ꯇꯨꯃꯤꯟꯅ ꯇꯧꯕ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯒꯅꯦꯀꯣ ꯃꯥꯅ ꯃꯁꯛ ꯀꯛꯄꯗꯣ ꯃꯥꯅ ꯐꯣꯡꯅ ꯀꯛꯄꯗꯤ ꯉꯝꯗꯦꯕꯀꯣ ꯇꯨꯃꯤꯟꯅ ꯆꯥꯟꯁ ꯂꯧꯔꯒ ꯀꯛꯈꯤꯕꯁꯦ ꯍꯦꯔꯣꯏꯛ ꯑꯣꯏꯕ ꯑꯦꯛꯇꯤ ꯅꯠꯇ꯭ꯔꯦꯗꯅ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯗꯤ ꯍꯦꯔꯣꯏꯛ ꯑꯣꯏꯕ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯒꯗꯤ ꯆꯦꯂꯦꯟꯖ ꯇꯧꯕ ꯐꯦꯁ ꯇꯨ ꯐꯦꯁ ꯃꯥꯅꯣ ꯏ ꯃꯥꯅꯣ ꯀꯥꯏꯅꯒ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯗꯣꯀꯣ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯏꯗꯤꯌꯣꯃꯦꯇꯤꯛ ꯐ꯭ꯔꯦꯁꯇꯒ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯇꯥꯔꯦꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯒꯨꯝꯕꯒꯤ ꯃꯒꯨꯟꯗꯨꯗꯤ ꯀꯔꯦꯖꯀꯨꯝꯕꯒꯤ ꯃꯒꯨꯟꯗꯨꯗꯤ ꯌꯥꯎꯗꯦ ꯃꯉꯣꯟꯗꯀꯣ ꯃꯥꯅ ꯃꯁꯝ ꯃꯥꯒꯤ ꯑꯦꯛꯁꯟꯗꯣ ꯃꯥꯅ ꯄꯥꯡꯊꯣꯛꯏꯕ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯄ꯭ꯂꯣꯠꯁꯤꯕꯨ ꯗ꯭ꯔꯥꯏꯚ ꯇꯧꯔꯤꯕ ꯑꯦꯛꯁꯟꯁꯦ ꯃꯥꯅ ꯃꯁꯝ ꯀꯛꯄꯗꯨꯅꯤ ꯏꯚꯟ ꯑꯗꯨꯒꯤ ꯑꯦꯛꯁꯟꯗꯨꯐꯥꯎꯗ ꯃꯥꯅ ꯇꯨꯃꯤꯟꯅ ꯁ꯭ꯇꯦꯜꯇꯤ ꯑꯣꯏꯅ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯇꯥꯔꯦꯀꯣ ꯂꯣꯠꯅ ꯃꯥꯅ ꯀꯛꯑꯦꯕꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯃꯉꯣꯟꯗ ꯍꯦꯔꯣꯏꯛ ꯀ꯭ꯋꯥꯂꯤꯇꯤ ꯆꯦꯟꯗꯦ ꯃꯦꯟꯂꯤ ꯀꯔꯦꯖꯁꯨ ꯌꯥꯎꯗꯦ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯗꯣ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯗ ꯈꯪꯍꯜꯂꯦꯕ Pope uses incident to expose shallowness that surfaces in upper classes enjoying their wealth, status, and leisure. ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯄꯣꯞꯅ ꯃꯁꯤꯒꯤ ꯏꯟꯁꯤꯗꯦꯟꯇꯨꯅ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯇꯥꯔꯦꯀꯣ ꯀꯔꯤ ꯎꯠꯊꯣꯛꯀꯦ ꯀꯔꯤ ꯈꯪꯍꯟꯒꯦ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯀꯥꯟꯗ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯁꯦꯂꯣ ꯑꯣꯏꯕ ꯅꯦꯆꯔ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯁꯦꯂꯣ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯒꯗꯤ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯁꯔꯐꯦꯁ ꯂꯦꯚꯦꯜꯗ ꯑꯗꯨꯝ ꯐꯣꯀꯁ ꯇꯧꯕ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯒꯦꯅꯀꯣ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯃꯄꯥꯟ ꯊꯣꯡꯒꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯇꯥꯔꯦꯀꯣ ꯃꯅꯤꯄꯨꯔꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯒꯀꯣ ꯃꯄꯥꯟ ꯊꯣꯡꯒꯤ ꯑꯣꯏꯕ ꯃꯒꯨꯟꯁꯤꯡꯗꯨꯗꯪ ꯑꯗꯨꯗ ꯑꯣꯏꯅ ꯐꯣꯀꯁ ꯇꯧꯕ ꯃꯅꯨꯡꯗ ꯃꯤ ꯑꯃꯒꯤ ꯀ꯭ꯋꯥꯂꯤꯇꯤ ꯀꯩꯀꯩ ꯌꯥꯎꯏ ꯈꯣꯠꯂꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯗꯨ ꯎꯕꯤꯗꯕꯀꯣ ꯃꯇꯝꯗꯨꯒꯤ 18th ꯁꯦꯟꯆꯨꯔꯤꯒꯤ ꯆꯠꯅꯕꯤꯗꯨꯕꯨ ꯐꯖꯅ ꯑꯦꯛꯁꯄꯣꯖ ꯇꯧꯔꯒ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯗ ꯈꯪꯍꯜꯂꯦꯕꯀꯣ ꯁꯨꯃꯥꯏꯅ ꯆꯠꯅꯕꯤꯁꯤ ꯁꯨꯃꯥꯏꯅ ꯂꯩꯔꯝꯃꯦ Clarissa have a character is the main character amani ko. She is among ladies in attendance at Hampton Court Party. On the Hampton Court Party, the Majun he am the amani ko Maju example amani or Maju attendance attendee amani ko. She lends Baron a pair of scissors. Mana never kati to pidu to ko. Madugi kati to na amu Belinda yung masum kat pada sino to ko. Clarissa in Canto 5 emerges as a wise woman and delivers moralizing lecture. On the Canto 5 today, among mana nupi yang gyan taw nupi mo ko habadi ako'y na tawag lali ako'y focus say on natin na tangre ko kasi na tawa sam the focus to le ko le kay na tamana ko na Canto 5 taw mo magi opinion share to niya ko ado hana Canto 3 dadi mana kati to piraga Baron do ko Belinda mas muka handu niya she becomes voice of hope on the hope hariba ko point to pa ko saying iri no positive voice eh Clarissa na mai mo chilaga mana ngang turo ko to hope na haningi ko to Clarissa through the Clarissa na hiraga with the kangan dunya. She alone has ability to discern that beauty is transient. Frail beauty must decay. Habadi fazaba habase ngahak tang gini habase Clarissa dan nakhange. Mana discern to hiraga the understand to habata ko. Yes, fazaba habase magun namani quality mani ko mi kudi mani ai adubu rose fazaba mas hat pa habase maybe a few days after a few 1 or 2 weeks adum matuna ken gini magi fazal magun mang gini ko that is reality auna beauty is transient or transient har ga haktangi existing for a short period of time I the home banai ba habitar ko fazaram gani matam khara leraga adum mai magun ken gini frail beauty must decay adum mai quality to handara ka tabni beauty habse ko masi mahausa ne habse Clarissa ne kyan tayo and coquetry is ultimately self-defeating and one must cultivate good humor to laugh at human follies. So now, miyoi bahai akoi se good humor cultivate to budobuni ko akoi human singi follies hai asoba singja isana recognize to budobuni na Clarissa na ikuida tai or akoi khangale. Her name is from Latin clarissima means the most famous and suggests clarity of vision. Ona midyeng vision habita na ko maldo yamna clear ba character mani na akoi khale. In Canto 3, her role is opposite to what she is in Canto 5 as she encourages Baron in attempt to cut lock of hair. Ana mana Canto 3 the ko mana kati to piraga mana Baron the encourage toraga san ka o polo Belinda mas to katalu kind of mana encourage to neba. Adubu Canto 5 na mana gyan taraga habita na ko magi characters ya ahung karwi ko Canto 3 gi Clarissa ga Canto 5 ki Clarissa ga kenabayang ko. She ridicules Belinda and ladies with her. Their sense of outrage over such a trivial incident is nothing but an act of juvenile reaction. Mana Belinda jo amasung Belinda na tabi nupi ato pasing jo mana chay hai bata ne ko ridicule tawi kari to ino haba kana mo ni sorry je kisu na taba yana trivial asu yam oi ba tabak sidaga koina khatna dana law na ko na kaptan to je maram cha de yana juvenile ba juvenile ha angang masagi hai bata ko reaction ni kaina ga Clarissa na mana Belinda hoy amasung magi ladies sing to Belinda la ni na sing Telestris for example ko mo ibo na mutamana chahiye the sylphs are guardian spirits of the air designed to protect virgins and their chastity on nakana ning ko na sylphs ko gi sereng ji ko Ariel have yore Belinda's guardian who oversees army of invisible protective deities on Ariel jina mana chief to ko abdi makok ni have ta ko mana oversee to be army of invisible protective deities atopa matunda na teba protector ji ko mana Belinda will protect no mea guardian sylph mea dugi mana leader ne Brillante tanang the sylph who is assigned to guard Belinda's earrings on the Belinda earrings to guard to no sylph to na Brillante ko ko momentila sina kanano the sylph who is assigned to guard Belinda's watch on the mai ghari Belinda ghari tu chikshna thamna ba pa yengna ba thamba sylph tu momentila ko ona Crispisa the sylph who is assigned to guard Belinda's favorite lock and Umbriel chief gnome who travels to cave of spleen and returns with bundles of sighs and tears to aggravate Belinda's vexation. Ona Umbriel jina kanano haba kanda mana Belinda ki reaction dubu amuki henna kannaba amuki henna melodramatic oina ba ina mana cave of spleen sanuluraga bundles of sighs and tears puraga Belinda da chashalaga haba tare ko amuki henna ma tawai no waita nam konna ba honna riba nom dubu chief nom dubu Umbriel ko Umbriel, who comes after Ariel leaves to take care of Belinda, a melancholy gnome who receives horrible noises, tears, sorrows, and griefs from Queen of Bad Temper. So, namana, horrible noises kumba tears kumba sorrow kumba myam je puraga aerial chakra matungda ko aduna ke haitare Belinda da magi reaction je Belinda na kap ta photo to ri to oda umbriel gi response umbriel gi role so ji yawin cinema. I think it's like the last. Telestris, Belinda's friend, named to stand for the Queen of the Amazons, and represents the historical Gertrude Morley, a friend of Pope's and the wife of Sir George Brown, rendered as her beau, Sir Plume, in the poem. She eggs Belinda on in her anger and demands that the lock be returned. On the Telestris, Harry, but the Pizina, Belinda, friendly. Mana Belinda, the Injulaga, Magi, lock, to, Kapiru, Kulu, Hayu, kind of man, Injan, doing a happy. ꯈꯠꯅꯕꯒꯤ ꯃꯔꯝꯗꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯗ ꯑꯆꯧꯕ ꯃꯔꯝ ꯑꯃ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯊꯦꯂꯦꯁꯇ꯭ꯔꯤꯁꯤꯅ ꯔꯣꯜ ꯑꯆꯧꯕ ꯑꯃ ꯄ꯭ꯂꯦ ꯇꯧꯗꯣꯏꯅꯦꯕꯀꯣ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯕꯦꯇꯜ ꯑꯣꯐ ꯗ ꯁꯦꯛꯁꯦꯁꯀꯨꯝꯕ ꯑꯗꯩꯗꯤ ꯕꯦꯂꯤꯟꯗꯥꯒ ꯕꯦꯔꯟꯒ ꯈꯠꯅꯕꯒꯤ ꯃꯔꯝꯗ ꯑꯣꯔ ꯈꯠꯅꯕꯒꯤ ꯃꯇꯥꯡꯗ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯇꯥꯔꯦꯅꯦꯀꯣ ꯊꯦꯂꯦꯁꯇ꯭ꯔꯤꯁ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯤꯕ ꯕꯦꯂꯤꯟꯗꯥꯒꯤ ꯐ꯭ꯔꯦꯟꯁꯤꯁꯨ ꯑꯆꯧꯕ ꯔꯣꯜ ꯑꯃ ꯄ꯭ꯂꯦ ꯇꯧꯒꯗꯣꯔꯤꯕꯀꯣ. So, next slide ang last ko. Sir Plume, mati yamna major of character mati na take ko. Sir Plume is Telestris' beau who makes an ineffectual challenge to the Baron. Ano naman na Baron na challenge to be? Habidi lock to ko. Mas samdugi sambundo han ko pitoro kind naman habi ko. Adubu effective oy gite habidi Baron na lum na logi de or Baron na kismo logi gite habi tayo ko. He represents the historical Sir George Brown, a member of Pope's social circle na Pope ki social circle mama na ba habi tayo ko magi contact habi tayo ko Sir George Brown to represent the winner ko Sir Plume dun. Character analysis in detail. Belinda ko. Belinda dagi horisi ko in detail da. A wealthy and beautiful young woman belonging to the nobility. Ang namaze masak fazay ko ma pisapay ko nobility that belong to unupini. It is her beauty that attracts the baron who, in his infatuation, snips off her lock of hair. Ang na magi masak fazabo do nebo ko. Baron na Belinda je palm badagi habi tayo ko man masam sambun na mo ko magi lock ama man kasa tuisi ko. Pope's lines, if to her share some female errors fall, look on her face and you will forget them all. Ona kyam phazagi haina Pope na itorpa kanda ko. Female errors kara leramagati nupi singi marka female errors habse leiragati Belinda gi masakta yengba kanda nupi singzi error lei ka habse loina mo ko ngam si. Haibadi aduki matik phazai habani ko. So Belinda ji yamna fazab nupi emo ibnina according to Pope ko according to the poem yamna fazab nupi ibnina magi nupi si mogi shortcomings kai ka loina mo ko bo ngam zin ko magi beauty jin. Shock of Belinda and women appears puerile because cutting a lock is not same as raping a woman. Auna moigi reaction ko. Auna nupi sing dugi Belinda masung magi mama nupi sing habitare Hampton Court party dugi ko. Nupi sing duna moina reactor mo do yamna puerile oi ko yamna extra oi habitare ko because cutting a log is not the same as raping a woman. The moina react or to the hector means a halabagi tap the piecing the pido poor of a halabi tap to react to it by the captain and kong and loud and talk on a pop numbers of with the canal by an extra or by an extreme or by exaggeration. Pope makes point that since Belinda is beautiful, desire to possess love of her hair cannot be viewed as immoral act. And the Pope na justify to it. Haibadi Baron do not commit to crimes. Belinda na masat aduki matik fazarubagi haibitare. Masatu fazarubagi magi sambun nama pamba haibisidi mahusani. Nauna Baron dugi action do crime ni yam immoral or by act ni na lobiati na Pope na justify to it. And they go. Haibadi masak to aduki matik fazabani na aduki matik beautiful aduki matik o inspiring hair ko oibani na mai masam sambun do mi khudimang na pamba ta ni na madu pamaga masam do kau do immoral by action in the lobby aroi because fazabanu pi gi masam do thingning ba haiba ta na ko masam do thingning ba haiba si mahusani na pop to sivai to Pope introduces Ariel to warn her of lurking danger to her virginity. Fact that Belinda does not take Ariel's warning seriously seen when she exclusively dresses and goes to mingle with peer groups of lords and ladies. Oh na Ariel na Belinda the warning karapi. Haibadi chikshalu polu ko magi dream the tegala aga on the chikshan na ba ko na ba chikshan wahi haibata na ko pibato Belinda na lumna lote be maram te kai no haibata na Belinda na on the male attention haibata mayam gi focus sema no winning ba mayam gi attention the mong the thamaning ba Baron du gi attention ju haibata na ko mana pam ba dina Ariel gi warning haibata mana lumna loki de because ma she wanted the incident to happen to her habitat and they call my masam ta ki ko ki busa mana thohaning give action ne ana do thohaning give do mana thohaning ba action na Ariel gi warnings in do mana ta de bita habitat ko mana themes ga chalaga themes doctor ga habitat ko mai ja ki da doctor ga Hampton party sa twin Belinda covertly releases Baron's infatuation and sighs and sorrows are artificial. Belinda covertly haragadi secretly havani ko releases haragadi enjoys havani Baron infatuation Baron do na monda uliba attention Baron do na monda apamba uliba do mana tuminna haibadi mapan thong da haibata ko haidok tragasu mapan thong da mingon da khangan tragasu ko mapan thong da man utragasu manung da mana harawe ko infatuation do ubada mana pame haitare ko and sighs and sorrows are artificial na mai masam kakiba kanda mana kaptana khot khina mai ma piga ta da kotan to to artificial web habi genuine oi de ba sing ba da ma thawai nungai ta ba phau ko kem phau de ba ma harauri ne sing Ariel recognizes no sense of wounded pride in Belinda over Baron's passion. She has no quality to make her claim status of a hero of an epic poem. Now Ariel na do realize of ko na ko mana protection piram ba do aina protection piri si di mana kisu protection do pam de na id ko na Ariel na gyan tar tu ne adi matak Belinda se Monda top magun habatare ko classical epic amada heroine namana or female protagonist habatare chengdo magun sing monda amat chende magi habu ko she is an attractive young woman and is vain about her looks amna mo heroic poem ni na ko chenda budu chelanbe monda koida portrait wi poem na ko ma je masak fazabu pi masamani masyam fazabu pi masamani aduga magi masakta magi attractiveness ta habatare ko odona hina focus to gun pm ne mas portrayal of Belinda softened and muted. Her heroism is limited to playing cards, a far cry from the battlefield where the classical hero reveals his awesome superior fighting prowess over the enemy forces. Now Belinda ki heroism to the playing cards ombre habatare ko ombre hari game do sana do da magi heroic quality do le haji sometimes Achilles hoy Hector hoy Aeneas hoy ko mogi classical heroes sing daga mogi land daga kai daga utkiba action sing do adu yam kenai have tare ko man uloi siga unlike classical hero of epic straddling like a colossus Belinda is reduced to a heroine whining pretending to be hurt and wounded ona magun afa yam na chin ba epic hero gi type da utkadra haraga Belinda di yamna complain to ba yamna hai tare wine to ba hai tare ko ai ningai hai tare ko to ba ona sokpa saba ko ma ji yamna thamoi shoku saba maje pain the sapa no negative no le maje content. Belinda is capricious, impulsive, and mercurial. On the maje yamna calm oiba quality, yamna thoughtful oiba, yamna intellectual oiba quality ma chele na utte ko pomna. Maje capricious oi, impulsive, amaso mercurial oi no le na mangon da chele ba qualities me amje classical hero ama epic ama da chain ga do ba mari classical epic hero am da chain ga do quality am na te ba ko madi magi sakta yamna focus to ba apan tong gi have tare ko quality sing de na focus to ba ke ba mo pamba ko yamna heroic quality am buk chain da ba pi amanya Baron gi ngas ko Baron's action triggers conflict between Belinda and Baron on the Baron na some ko ni ko Baron Belinda marta achuba khanna ba ma lakhe to Besotted by her beauty, he snips lock and refuses to give it back. Now, Belinda gi fazabduna, Belinda gi masal fazagar ba magunduna, urubada, mazi ngoman bada gi have tare ko, mana masam buka udunya ko, adu mana piro have the piro dunya. And while his cutting of the lock is not equated with rape in the modern sense, in the context of the poem, it means theft or pillaging. Pope is still using the word to connote injustice. So now, so the rape, how is mana hujik matam gi modern times, na rape, haraga sexual assault, have tare ko. Nupina or even Nupana, even though the percentage is very low, Nupi singna sexually exploit over Amasung Moina Yat of physical touch, the assault of the Marilyn about Zimatamgi definition of rape to the Pope Nupi is Kaniko. See the Pope na rape, Haradimana theft or pillaging had a moon luggage at Kiba, village so Baragadi Matana, village Sagalaga, Vikings in the village or Mega High to Mulaga, Pukimata. Fact that Baron is only referred to by title, revealing masculinity and station but nothing else, or else is satirically figured as a knight, allows Pope to metonymically cast a kind of witty judgment over all noblemen. Honestly, the Baron Harakanda, Karma Baron no, Komai Amin Karino, exact Mami Kano, and the Piram Drizza, Manasi the Baron Harize, Pope Nayamna Sing, Habitareko, Matam Dugi, nobleman, Habitare. 18th century noblemen could apply to Yaba. Magi satire have tare ko magi criticism je every nobleman the apply to gana by na mana paming pandabita just baron the baron and the pyramid and question contemporary assumption that they were intellectual and moral leaders of their day. Now 18th century gi hoigi noblemen singse moise intellectual oi amasung moral leaders oi ka have say na yaning da hai bata ko mana question to ko mana accept to ko aduna mana sida baron haraga quality chen da banu pa ma da mana baron ha ta ko piraga kanano karma baron no kind of specify to rum jisa loine makta apply to we mon ne man piece Belinda and Baron have no heroic trait, and despite belonging to gentry and enjoying highest status of society, both deflates their status as epic characters. Oh no. Belinda ka Baron gagi anisi ki marak ko heroic trait amasung heroic magun amuk chente gentry to belong to roga ko highest status of society have the moji nobleman amasung noble woman or benina ko highest status of society enjoy to roga moji status se story to the ko moji mong epic to the moji status se amakada sing de have the Ming dangi one is nama hai ko moji noble boy have say just in name ko moji qualities moji intellectual level have tare moji nobility have mogun do muk chente hai a foolish and juvenile action so to trigger a courtly war. The war here, as in the Iliad, is a war of erotic passion, but in case of Trojan War, it was wounded pride, while here is a whimsical and mischievous action sparks the fight. Oh no, ipang pang ba juvenile haragadi childish ba hamni ko action do na courtly war ma huduki mong da na with a ullem ko. Oh no, sida uliban lan the war here, as in the Iliad yawbalan to mine ko is a war of erotic passion. Having the pan peaky relationship in Matang Lay, ID Karadi money have a direct. Adubu, but in case of Trojan War, it was wounded pride. Happy Agamemnon's younger brother Menelaus na mind the Helen have a direct. Helen J. Troy gi Ningtomacha have a direct. Priam getting to younger son have a direct Hector Gimanongpa, Paris na. Tuminna mulaga pugi ba have tare ko kidnap to giba am hiring ko in some sources to demand sa yan sa kunay to giba dagi Menelaus na sounding ba have tare ko wounded pride have di mind pido mulaga pugi ba have say matam dagi ningtho sing dadi yam kai ni ngai ko thawang ni ko aduna maduna lando ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯏꯂꯤꯌꯠꯀꯤ ꯂꯥꯟꯗꯣ ꯍꯧꯕꯒꯤ ꯃꯔꯝ ꯑꯣꯏꯈꯤꯕ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯍꯦꯚꯤ ꯑꯣꯏꯕ ꯁꯕꯖꯦꯛ ꯃꯦꯇꯔ ꯑꯃꯅꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯗꯤ ꯃꯤꯒꯤ ꯅꯨꯄꯤ ꯃꯨꯜꯂ ꯄꯨꯈꯤꯕ ꯀꯥꯏ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯁꯦꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯁꯤꯔꯤꯌꯁ ꯑꯣꯏꯕ ꯃꯦꯇꯔꯗꯨꯅ ꯏꯂꯤꯌꯠꯀꯤ ꯂꯥꯟꯗ ꯇ꯭ꯔꯣꯖꯟ ꯋꯥꯔ ꯍꯧꯈꯤꯕꯅꯤ ꯑꯗꯨꯕꯨ ꯃꯁꯤꯒꯤ ꯃꯣꯛ ꯑꯦꯄꯤꯛ ꯗ ꯔꯦꯞ ꯑꯣꯐ ꯗ ꯂꯣꯛꯁꯤꯗꯗꯤ whimsical and mischievous ꯑꯣꯏꯕ ꯑꯦꯛꯁꯟ ꯑꯃꯅ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯗꯤ ꯀꯩꯁꯨ ꯅꯠꯇꯕ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯇꯥꯔꯦ ꯏꯔꯥꯏ ꯂꯥꯏꯕ ꯑꯦꯛꯁꯟ ꯃꯆꯥ ꯑꯃ ꯑꯉꯥꯡ ꯃꯆꯥꯒꯤ ꯑꯦꯛꯁꯟ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯇꯥꯔꯦꯀꯣ ꯁꯝ ꯀꯛꯄꯁꯦꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯈꯠꯅꯕꯗꯣ ꯑꯣꯔ ꯐꯥꯏꯠꯇꯣ ꯍꯧꯗꯣꯛꯈꯤꯕꯅꯦ ꯑꯗꯨ ꯈꯦꯠꯅꯕꯗꯣ ꯎꯠꯂꯦꯕ Pope uses tradition of epic poetry to show triviality of court life. Triviality ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯒꯗꯤ ꯍꯥꯟꯅ ꯃꯇꯝ ꯑꯃꯗꯗꯤ ꯀꯣ nobility-ꯁꯤꯡꯒꯤ ꯃꯣꯏꯒꯤ court life-ꯁꯦ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ standard ꯋꯥꯡꯕ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯂꯦꯝꯕ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯃꯒꯨꯟ ꯂꯩꯕ ꯂꯩꯔꯝꯕ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯇꯥꯔꯦꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯕꯨ 18th century-ꯗꯗꯤ ꯑꯗꯨꯒꯤ ꯃꯒꯨꯟꯁꯤꯡꯗꯣ ꯂꯣꯏ ꯃꯥꯡꯈ꯭ꯔꯦ ꯃꯥꯅ ꯄꯣꯞꯅ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯤꯕ Baron's clumsy use of scissors a contrast to dexterous use of swords in epic. ꯑꯗꯨꯅ Baron-ꯗꯨꯅ ꯃꯥꯅ ꯍꯩꯕꯣꯏ ꯍꯩꯇꯕꯣꯏ ꯀꯥꯇꯤꯗꯨ ꯁꯤꯖꯤꯟꯅꯔꯒ ꯕꯦꯂꯤꯟꯗꯥꯒꯤ ꯃꯁꯝꯒ ꯀꯛꯄꯗꯣꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯗꯣ ꯀꯔꯤ ꯀꯟꯇ꯭ꯔꯥꯁ ꯇꯧꯏ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯂꯥꯟꯗ ꯑꯦꯀꯤꯂꯤꯁ ꯍꯣꯏ ꯍꯦꯛꯇꯔ ꯍꯣꯏ ꯃꯣꯏꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯗꯤ ꯃꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯑꯦꯄꯤꯛ ꯍꯤꯔꯣꯁꯤꯡꯅ ꯃꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯊꯥꯡ ꯄꯥꯏꯔꯒ ꯂꯥꯟꯗꯒ ꯃꯣꯏꯅꯒ ꯎꯠꯄ ꯃꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯀ꯭ꯋꯥꯂꯤꯇꯤ ꯀꯣ ꯃꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯃꯒꯨꯟ ꯃꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯕ꯭ꯔꯦꯚꯔꯤ ꯎꯠꯄꯗꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯒ ꯀꯝꯄꯤꯌꯔ ꯇꯧꯕꯅꯦꯕ Battle of Cards on the Green Table highlights contrast between noble activities of Homeric men and vain activities performed by courtly lords and ladies. Oh no. Battle of Cards, Ombre have a classical epic tadi ꯂꯥꯟꯐꯝꯗꯒ ꯊꯣꯛꯂꯒꯀꯣ ꯁꯒꯣꯜꯒ ꯇꯣꯡꯗꯅ ꯈꯣꯠꯇꯅ ꯊꯥꯡ ꯇꯦꯟ ꯄꯥꯏꯔꯒ ꯍꯥꯏꯗꯠꯅꯗꯅꯀꯣ ꯃꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯀꯩ ꯍꯥꯏꯇꯥꯔꯦ ꯐꯣꯔ ꯑꯣꯅꯔ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯇꯥꯔꯦꯀꯣ ꯃꯇꯝꯗ ꯇꯧꯈꯤꯕꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯒ ꯀꯔꯤ ꯀꯟꯇ꯭ꯔꯥꯁ ꯇꯧꯒꯦ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯀꯥꯟꯗ ꯀꯥꯔꯠ ꯄ꯭ꯂꯦꯌꯤꯡꯗꯨꯒ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯗꯤ ꯖꯨꯋꯥꯔ ꯁꯥꯟꯅꯕ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯇꯥꯔꯦꯀꯣ ꯖꯨꯋꯥꯔ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯇꯥꯔꯦ ꯑꯗꯨ ꯁꯥꯟꯅꯕꯗꯨ ꯀꯟꯇ꯭ꯔꯥꯁ ꯇꯧꯋꯦꯕ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯗꯤ ꯃꯒꯨꯟꯁꯦ ꯑꯗꯨꯛꯀꯤ ꯃꯇꯤꯛ ꯍꯟꯊꯔꯦ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯒꯤ ꯃꯑꯣꯡꯗ ꯄꯣꯞꯅ ꯃꯈꯣꯏꯗ ꯎꯠꯂꯦꯕꯀꯣ ꯅꯣꯕꯤꯂꯤꯇꯤꯒꯤ ꯂꯥꯏꯐꯁꯦ The intervention of supernatural elements in lives of men and women is an important aspect of an epic. The point to note is that these guardian self are not visible to the character. From the guardian self, I would Ariel hoy masagi ka hagi bu my gari watch to senaba self guardian self ko ati min julera adi moi sugumba Ariel na di quite important ko moje epic singda supernatural element yawi or deus ex machina ga habu ko adu gi maina akoi gi masigi mock epic sida ju adu yawe Ariel is chief of sylphs. As Canto 3 opens, he warns Belinda that he is given responsibility to protect her beauty. He warns her to be careful of men, beware of men, and tries to ward off danger. When Beren is about to seizure her lock, Ariel discovers an earthly lover lurking at her heart and that she is not as chaste as she should be. Ariel abandons her responsibility. Ariel's withdrawal reinforces Pope's contention that courtly lords and ladies do not have any genuine respect for chastity and morality. Auna Ariel's na di Belinda's yamna lemba nupi ko maje yamna chaste oiba yamna cultured oiba yamna singjaba ko yamna chastity bu yamna kay haitare high level da thamjaba nupi ta khalluba adubu mana Berenduna masam du kakke to kanda Ariel na realize ko oh Belinda je Baron na sam kalak da mong da tasing na song ba phaw nate even happiness when the phaw because just that makino gi Baron du na mong attention la ko gi na kan da gi Ariel je na ma je aina han khalui tu ga mana le mi ba mai wa khalon ko ma gi what her heart desires have ta ko adu du yam thendara me na khang pu gi Ariel na ma gi responsibility du do ma ga sa ki du ne madu sa ki bu dai ne ko protection du lai ta ba gi ne ba Baron du na sam ka pu no Ariel's withdrawal reinforces Karitawi, Pope's contention that courtly lords and ladies do not have any genuine respect for chastity and morality. Now, Chindadi, chastity and morality, we are the support of the Saba, courtly lords and ladies sing the Adubu, the sing the Manungadi, Moida Adugi qualities, called chastity and morality, or noble qualities sing the Ambuxi and they have to say Pope na with a Kanale. Heroic couplet, a traditional form of English poetry used for epic and narrative poetry. Pattern of an unstressed syllable followed by one stressed syllable is called iambic, and because there are 5 stresses in each line, the meter is called pentameter. With knowledge of epics and manners of society, successfully created sort of anticlimax leading to humor. On the iambic pentameter, for example, William Shakespeare and Magi sonnet singing give the epigrams like an honest man is the noblest work of God, or hope springs eternal in the human breast have passed into common speech. Now, we pop the Irambasing the Kojiki, Yamna quote Yam Tonare Habitare, Maje Aina, if I'm not mistaken. After William Shakespeare, Mana, most quoted English writer on Biacon. Like easy vigor of Dryden, he excelled in exquisite finish achieved through choice of words. Now, Dryden ki easy vigor do mana yobang namdragaju mana mukari da hai have kanda exquisite finish achieved through choice of words. Magi diction have ta ko. Adugi matang de mu mana Dryden gi hele. Habadi Dryden ga pop je amani quality da ko amana sigi jaga da madne heli madna sigi jaga da pop nung heli habi mo. Pope's fame created many envious foes who often ran him down. Theobald, who had criticized his edition of Shakespeare, was ridiculed by him in the Dunciad, and later Policiver met same fate. Now, Pope ki am envious oiba ma bu kalak pa habi tayo ko foes. And my enemies habi tare. Mayam lay aduna Pope sina magi enemies singjibu directly attack to ko magi satire sinda. So, for example, Theobald jima na attack to with Dunciad to pa aduga Policiver jitu mana attack to. Picture of society. The Rev of Love is a perfect expression of Augustine. Haibadi Augustine aids to go Pazna portrait of work of literature, Hayo Haragadi, the Rev of the Love, Sinayam, Pazana, Utopa Haibada expression of the name. Blending of mock heroic satire and delicate fancy, exquisite specimen of filigree work remains unmatched. Ona, Ozi Pabuda, a quickie mock heroic satire to Yoba, fancy to Yoba, filigree work, say, imbalance of work to the Rev of the Love, not quite obvious example happy hour. Purpose of poem was to laugh at the little unguarded foibles and weaknesses of the female sex through the portrayal of Belinda, a masterpiece of satire upon feminine frivolity. Now, Saring's purpose karino habakanda unguarded foibles and weaknesses of the female sex. I think the piece singi asoiba habita. The part of the pigeon niko, I am the piece singi asoiba moigi shortcomings to Makai Gumbudu, Utoga, Maduda. Nooga habitat ko improvement gi lambi ama thi to madune ba ko na points. Pleasure trip on Thames and delightful social meetings at Hampton Court, pleasurable diversions to break monotony of theatres. Drinking, gambling, playing cards, lovemaking, and coquetry were little activities with which ladies of the day kept themselves socially engaged. The young gallants of time were busy with gay frivolities and fashions. Moral of poem is young ladies do not care so much for beauty but for virtues. Ona matamdugi naha nupa oigira nupi oigira ko noble nena kanjaba singjina important oiba kana gadoba pursuits in the focus to the virtues in chain na ba hona da bida ko moina fashion da playing cards ko gambling drinking ko the surface level da mo gi fazaba fazai ko le ka har ga mo gi attractiveness hengana ba mo beauty hengana ba I mean something that pop na magun leite maru oide na kan jaga sing da I am focus to le bito madu dubu pop na man savings ta koi da pahalaga khangan duine ba 18th century je sumain to gi have madu. Strategy of Pope's mock heroic epic not to mock form but to mock society. Society is he exposes pettiness by casting it against grandeur of traditional epic subjects and bravery of epic heroes. Pope's mock heroic in the Rev of the Law underscores ridiculousness of society in which values have lost all proportions and is trivial is handled with gravity and solemnity. Oh now, important important values in them mogi magun sing chalandre aduga trivial oiba issue like taba wada na hen focus to madune pona akoy the police. Pope's use of mock epic genre is intricate and exhaustive. The Rev of the Law is a poem in which every element of contemporary scene conjures up some image from epic tradition or classical worldview, and pieces are wrought together with cleverness and expertise that makes poems surprising and delightful. The great battles of epic times become bouts of gambling and flirtatious tips. Yamna intricate way poem ni toro pakan ko yam exhaustive way. Habidi yam in depth way habidi san higher. Na mana sinaribo words, man sinaribo images, worldview habita ko yam jen way intricate as well as yamna exhaustive way sinaraga poems na with the yamna comprehensive way ba 18th century societies ko with the Greek and Roman gods converted into relatively undifferentiated army of basically ineffectual spirit and Greek Roman gods na epic poem the yoki beto aikoigi Rev of the Lotana with self spirit ko ai bedare with Ariel gumaki na replace to Rev. Cosmetic and jewelry substitute armor and weapons. Rituals of religious sacrifice transplanted to dressing room. Pope invokes muse and proposes theme. Following convention of epic, which must have some peculiar passion as distinguished feature, coquetry may be regarded as reigning passion of the Rev of the Law. Oh, na epic poem na ako'y sinariba elements or factors myamje mock epic poem no replace to to yaudi yahol le haibadi muse invoke to ba Greek and Roman gods yahon ba kolon myamje loin namang yaholi just that they have been transformed habitat into their base form habitat into their satirical form habitat. Pope introduced several episodes, such as episode of Game of Ombre. Supernatural machinery is introduced in epic poetry. But instead of gods and goddesses of Homer and Virgil, Pope introduces gnome and sylphs of Rosicrucian system. Ona Pope tadi oina gnome amasung sylph oina replace the grave ko. Apagi Homer and Virgil yoramba gods and goddesses mya. The pair of scissors with which Lord Peter performs rape has been described as two-edged weapon, little engine, fatal engine, and meeting point. And the metaphor gumju am sine habitat ko. Apagi figure of speech mya am ju Pope sine. Samuk to biare ko. Aso ni yangi. So, akoi characters kana kana yenge hogan Belinda yenge masi yam fazab nupi ni ko attention pam nupi ko matam dugi nupi masa sing dugu represent to ba ko yamna frivolous oiba yamna outside appearance da hen focus to nupi mani Baron ko Baron jina matam dugi nobleman sing gu represent to wi mana Belinda da pam dugi Belinda masan dukak pani adu bu mang ka dugi action se kugi pop na crime na tin high because masak fazab nupi am ge attention pam ba some mo san justify ko Clarissa jina Pope ki voice ratuni canto number 5 ta adu canto number 3 da di mana beranda kati to piraga masum dukang number matin pam ko mana speech sama pi beranda ko mana voice of Pope ri adu ga fazaba hai bisi ding hakini on focus ya to da to da ni kind of mana advice mu pi self singjina ko ki protective spirits me am do habitare ko guardian spirits me habitare ya real Brillante, Momentilla lere, Crispy salere, amasung Umbriel no norm ko. May am sinamu kari replace to buno kanda classical epic singi gods and goddesses singu mo ni replace tore. Masigi mo epic satire jida diko. Telestris na Belindai mamana bini mana injal laga Belinda da ko lan to ji kochi kind of kana ji kochi kind of nangi samdu ka pi apro ko pi apra kind of mana mai the key ai ba hai da ko man to ko character jo ne Sir Plumjuna, Telestris ki boni, mana honaraga mana sambundo launa boni, adubu kam kite habita. Ona, Belinda se koi in-depth analyze story, masaya ko zabu pini ko magunam se pini hare. Barando analyze story, matan da Ariel ju yeng ko Ariel da hana protection guardian se pirami, adubu Belinda ki real nature habita ko ma ki in-depth nature to kang kuda gidi mana protection to pikite. Aga picture of society ko analyze story. Genre of mock epic, masung heroic epic ki kenna bako kamain kari na kari replace to ki have to yenge. Last sum of the in this unit we provided you with material to kadowi ipina understand the story in relation to different characters that appear in Canto 5. Ona what is it in relation to what characters in different characters in habidi mingun na palabda ko ki Belinda hoy Baron hoy Telestris Sir Plume Clarissa or the Momentilla Spirit Siren ko Umbriel the Ariel ko mo miyam to analyze ko ona analyze the characters both major and minor so the major characters ta hire kana koi Belinda hoy lere Teresa lere Baron du lere ko even Ariel book ta habi ko ko minor na koi Sir Plume hoy ko bahay bi the Umbriel habi Momentilla habi ko Crispy Sago habi aduga recognize the roles played by the character on the karam role to play the weak characters in jina ko amana kaheta Telestris na kari role play to we Umbriel na kari role play to we Ariel na kari role play to we appreciate the distinctive style used by Pope on the Pope ki ang na magun labor magi top qualities ko analyze to ngame and finally understand how Pope makes use of epic tradition to satirize the 18th century society on the 18th century society jibu Pope na epic traditions sizinaraga kamaina satirize oge kamaina mock to ge have do hinsi analyze to ngame so that's all for today. Nasi lecture is the ko. Nasi akoi the rev of the law close so bangame, question bangame have tare ko. Mathangi lecture da koi another topic, another unit have tare ama local lagani ko. Aduna I will meet you all in the next class. Thank you. And I hope everyone has a good evening.